Welcome to this introduction to the C programming language. C is still widely used today, especially in small, specialized computers known as embedded systems. These tiny computers are found in everyday devices like cars, vending machines, smartphones, washing machines, and microwaves. Unlike regular computers, such as laptops or desktops, embedded systems have limited hardware resources, meaning they have less processing power and memory. C is popular for these systems because it produces very efficient programs that use fewer resources. This efficiency is crucial for devices with limited capacity. The C language creates lean and fast programs, helping these small devices run smoothly. In this tutorial, I will use Visual Studio Code, or VS Code for short, for writing C code, and GCC as the compiler to build and run the code. If you need help installing VS Code or GCC, check out other videos for guidance. I'll start by showing you how to build and run a simple C program. On the screen, you'll see the code at the top, the terminal at the bottom, where the commands are entered, and the project directory on the left listing all files. Currently, there's just one file named main.c. I'm going to demonstrate how to build this code. You do so in the terminal by entering gcc space main.c. We use main.c because that's the name of the C file, main.c. Enter. The compiler generates an executable called a.out. We are going to use a.out to run the program. We do so by entering ./a.out. Enter. Hello World is produced by the C code from the top. Now let's break down the code. On line 1, we include a library called stdio.h. This library, which stands for Standard Input Output, provides some pre-written code instead of writing them ourselves. C is case sensitive, so you must write the code exactly as it appears. I will explain why we need to use this library momentarily. On line 3, the program begins running the main function, which is the entry point of any C program. The main function is essential because the computer looks for it to start running the program. The code inside the main function is enclosed in curly braces, which define the scope of the function. These are the curly braces right here. And in between is the content or the scope of this main function. When the code inside the main function finishes running, the program returns a status code to the computer. A return value of 0 typically means the program ran successfully, while other values might indicate errors, depending on the system configuration. On line 3, the keyword int before main signifies that the function will return an integer value. The main function starts here and by convention returns 0 at the end to indicate successful execution. Each line of code in C must end with a semicolon, which marks the end of a statement. The computer executes the code line by line, starting with the top of the line of the main function to the bottom. As you can see, we have two statements. One is here on line 4, another one is here on line 6. You can add empty lines and spaces to organize your code without affecting its functionality. Proper indentation using spaces or tabs make the code more readable by visually grouping related lines of code, though the computer ignores those formatting choices. So that means that I can add tons of new lines, empty lines, and I can also change the indentation of each statement, and it won't change anything, but it's good to have it organized that makes sense. It's like something like this. On line 4, the printf function is called to print hello world to the screen. as demonstrated in the terminal down here. We do not need to create this function ourselves because it's part of the stdio.h library. The text within the double quotes is a string that gets displayed on the screen. After executing this line, the program reaches line 6 and then returns the status code with the return 0. Lastly, we can add comments in C to help explain the code. They are ignored by the computer and used only for human readers. For example, I can add a comment here, a single line comment that can better describe what this printf is doing or why we use it. For example, we can say need to print string to terminal. Another one we can use is a multi-line comment by the forward slash and the star and the closing star and the closing forward slash. We can write comments on multiple lines. This function always returns 0 no matter what. So this is the demonstration of multi-line comments. This concludes the first lesson of C programming. Thank you.